so awesome. Thank you so much for being part of the bundle.
Thank you for having me. It's been an amazing experience. It really forced me to write the ebook. So I'm really grateful to you guys for letting me do it.
Oh, we are so grateful that you joined, and you have something amazing in the bundle. And I don't know if everybody has actually got to like absorb a lot of your book. Could you talk a little bit about yours, the Bliss Plan?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a work in progress. And I do want to mention that if anybody wants an updated version that bought it in this bundle, I will send it to them when I'm still like learning so much. And the big thing, well, just to start it off, it's about what I did to heal my gut. I had Lyme disease, and I used the raw Fruitarian fasting thing to it really did help detoxify my body. But when you've done so many fasts and so many herbs to kill out Lyme, many people end up with really bad guts, gut dysbiosis. And so I believe that chronic Lyme without a tick bite, which is what I had, no tick bite, is actually often a disease of massive dysbiosis of the gut. And that's kind of the new understanding among people that have a clue, like naturopaths. They understand that we have horrible microbiome deficiency, and people test positive for Lyme, and then they start killing or fasting or doing whatever, and it can be helpful. It got me on my feet, but I ended up with pretty bad gastritis and almost close to, I would say, colitis from all of that detox. So with Lyme, it gets tricky because though there is a need for the body to detoxify and heal, our gut is so jacked up already. And then you throw a bunch of water fasting like I did, or banana island like I did, and you're not eating a varied diet. You're doing the kind of the cleansing diet. There's aspects of disease that can get better, and then there's aspects that can get much worse. And the gut is one of the things that can get worse. And so when I see people now, you and I have thrown raw potlucks and had these people show up who are just emaciated, and they're living the fast lifestyle. And we hear about it behind the scenes. What happens is you get really sick when you do this for a really long time. And so, one thing I would love to work with you on is spreading the message of we need to eat a variety of fibers, of types of fibrous foods to create a diverse microbiome. There's a place for fasting, and then there's a place for rebuilding that biome. So that's kind of what my book is about. It's another way besides just jumping on Fruit Island or water fasting. If you've tried that and you've come out of that in some ways better, in some ways worse, this is a way of healing the gut. And one other thing that I do want to update, you and I have been talking about butyrate this week. Yeah. And it used to be that they would put butyrate into probiotics, and it didn't do much. And now there's butyrate products that do something, and they heal the gut quite rapidly. And butyrate is a byproduct of fermentation of undigested fiber in the body. It's a complex issue, but basically butyrate heals the gut, and we need it to heal the gut. We need to eat a lot of different types of fiber, not just fruit, in order to get that butyrate at the level that we need it for healing. So I want to update the book with a little bit more on that topic, but that's been a life changer for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. I love that you are on the same page with that, because the butyrate is so important, and it's only created when the bacteria digest the fiber. And when you have gut dysbiosis, people are always like, well, I can't eat kale, and I can't eat broccoli, and I can't eat this, and I can't eat that. And in eliminating those foods, you're actually making the problem worse.
Exactly. So and that's what I give you in the book, which is you have to have these foods to heal the gut. So how do you get them in you? And it's your body. So you have to listen to people, and then through trial and error, try something that's going to lift those levels so that you're healing. And if you have what I had, which is Lyme disease with severe massive dysbiosis, what often will happen is that fruit will work for a while and you start to feel great. But long term, it is not giving you the microbiome that you need. Mm-hmm. So what you and I see constantly are people that have been fasting and fruiting, who they don't like to talk about it publicly, but behind the scenes are having a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that's kind of who the book is for, the people who have done the 80-10-10 or the fasting or the this and the that, and secretly they're suffering. And so, you know, I give a little bit of a cleansing diet just to help you get onto some different foods, but ultimately it's up to you to figure out within those food what works for you, and to get on a probiotic or some probiotic foods are going to help you heal and get your microbiome diverse and working.
Yeah. And I feel too, like so many people are so, like they're so heavy on the fruit, and they're like, oh no, the greens just slow detox, or they impede detox, but they actually help detox, because they suck up the toxins that are floating around your system and they pull them out of the body. But not only that, they're feeding your good bacteria. So when people go on like the all fruit, or they feel like all they can eat is fruit, is because they don't have enough bacteria to digest the greens and stuff. So they got to start slow. Just add, like, listen, like you said, listen to your body. And if your body says only 1 floret of broccoli a day is all they can handle, then that's fine. The next week, do 2 florets a day, and then do 3 florets a day, and then just work your way up, because you have to grow them somehow. And the only way they're going to grow is if they eat the fiber, right?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Dr. Furman says start slowly. You know, he uses beans. You have lentil sprouts in your recipes. Legume, and he said just start with it. Same thing, Dr. Greger, start with a tablespoon if you have to, but you have to build this microbiome, and it requires, like we just said, diversity, and eating just bananas or just mangoes or just citrus. As much as we want to think that we can be on Citrus Island like Ann Osborne or Dr. Morse for a year or 6 months, maybe it works they were very young when they did this, and maybe it works. I'm 55. That is going to like take out my gut lining and leave me in severe pain. And I know this because, of course, I tried it. So, you know, you really have to be careful doing things that people said worked when they were 19 or 20. If you're, you know, 45, 55, 65, even over 35, we have a much more toxic environment than we used to. So things that worked in old Eric's time may not work today. And this is from 10 years of natural hygiene experience, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And you and I see it constantly, like you said, over and over and over again. It's almost like the more simple you get, the more problems you have later.
Yes. And I did that long 23-day water fast out of desperation a couple summers ago. And again, you know, came out of it with very thrown off gut micro. And so it's been a big process for me to get that back and get digesting again.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been a long road for you. Oh man. We have a question here. Do you think a high raw, whole food, plant-based diet can be as healing as fully raw diet for the body? I think that as long as it's high raw, like if you're getting as much raw as possible, and if you just need to have any little cooked food or whatever to increase your calories or as a backup plan or what have you, it's kind of like that survival extra if you need it. I think it's totally fine, because it's all about the hydration.
Yep.
And the variety. So even if you're doing a whole food, high raw diet or vegan or whatever, it's about the variety of raw.
Yeah. And, you know, and I would definitely read Fiber Fueled by, I can't pronounce his last name.
I know, right? Neither can I.
Dr.
here.
Will be.
Dr. B.
But read his book. And like, you know, this was a raw bundle. So the book, when I first started, I did the 80-10-10. And like I said, that got me, you know, where I am today, but it didn't get me all the way there. So I'm still healing my gut. So I made this raw, but definitely, like, if you tolerate, you know, well-cooked lentils or quinoa, I would start with that. I see a lot of people with MS and Lyme that are just eating, mangoes for years, and now they have mystery illness, and they're spending all their time at the doctors. And I'm like, it's not a mystery to me, sweetie. You're sick because you don't have a diverse microbiome. And so if you're sick with Lyme or MS or something like that, you might start just finding like some form, if you have to be raw, some form of resistant starch or a legume that you can somehow digest along with your greens. And I think doing steamed is great. I think Dr. B says legumes are better than starches for creating that diversity. I'd need to reread it again, but
I think you're right. Yeah.
Berman's camp, which is it's beans and greens and a couple starch a day. Which is the opposite of what we're taught in natural hygiene, So it's really, I don't know, I can't say enough about his book. It will change the way that you look at everything. And Melissa is one of the few raw foodists who for years has been saying, this is not working. We need to be eating the salads. We've got to be eating the greens. We've got to be building up that biome. And so you and Nate have, guts of steel. Whereas we've seen all these other people from our original group just go down in flames. So if raw is not working, start with find a resistant starch. You create resistant starch by steaming and then cooling sweet potatoes, or you can, cook lentils in a pressure cooker. So you're getting rid of anything that might cause trouble. But we really have to search around for the foods that are going to build up our biome for us.
Exactly. And for people who might be scared, there would be a lot of people who might be like, well, I don't want to eat the cooked food. I want to go straight to raw. Yeah. But you have to do a small transition. If you have gut dysbiosis and you've come from a diet that is like, we all come from different places and different areas and different upbringings, and we've all eaten different kinds of stuff. So if you need to come over to raw, then just do the cooked lentils and add like a tablespoon of sprouts, right, with your cooked lentil, and then like move it up so that you add a little bit more raw every week until you're high raw or all go. But just doing a little bit at a time is really going to help transition. And I don't want people to feel shamed that they aren't fully raw or that they're not ever going to get there. It's not about that. It's about healing your gut. And in order to heal the gut, you have to work with you have to work with them.
And the thing is, your foods, like your burgers, have a lot of microbiome building foods. Yes. And what is surprising is if you're struggling with not being able to eat fruit, which is another thing we hear, if you put in the microbiome building foods like some lentils or some resistant starch, or even, I hate to say it, some of those burgers, even though they have nuts and seeds, if you can trick your microbiome into starting to feed on those things and then kick out that butyrate, you're going to find that your gut heals overnight. And there's a couple of amazing probiotics now that have a very strong form of butyrate in them. It's called, I cannot pronounce this. I wrote it down. Hold on, phonetically. It's called tributyrin, and it's vegan. It didn't used to be vegan. Now it's a vegan supplement. And if you look at Mary Ruth, the vegan line, and they have tributyrin in one of their probiotics now, and it's a good dose of it. You want between 1 and 3 grams a day, and I think her dosage is 1 gram per day. Nice. But I started with 3 grams per day, like the rapid healing, and then all of a sudden you can take in foods, create this whatever it's called, butyrate. I can't pronounce it, but you start to build it on your own. But we have some amazing supplements that will help you kickstart the healing of your gut. And then suddenly you're able to eat the foods, whether it's the raw fruit in the morning, and then the burgers, the sprouted lentils. I can eat anything now, and I couldn't do that for years. I was fasting myself in oblivion.
Yeah. And that's one of the top reasons why we've noticed a lot of people fall off raw or go back to even animal products, because they're getting to this point where they can't digest anything. Like they start fasting or restricting severely, doing elimination diets because there's something wrong. But after a long term doing that, they end up needing dense calories they've been craving for so long, and animal products have no fiber. So they go from one fiberless diet to another fiberless diet, only this fiberless diet is heavy fat and protein, right?
Yeah.
So either way, their gut isn't healing.
Right.
And they say, oh, but my digestion is amazing. But they,
Yeah.
it's not actually, you're just not irritating it because
Correct.
you don't have the gut bacteria to digest real fiber.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can only eat bananas, or you can only eat mango, or you can, worse, if you can only eat melon, there is something wrong with your digestion. Mm-hmm. You have created a microbiome that is so specific to a few fruits that you can't eat anything. That means you have a very narrow set of bugs in your gut. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're eating, you know, huge salads, huge plates of steamed with lentils or sprouted lentils, you're starting to create that diversity. And yeah, we could go on and on and on about this.
I know, right? Totally. I know it's funny because like I get a lot of questions randomly. People will be, they'll see my salads and say, how in the world do you digest all of that? Because Lissa, don't you worry about food combining? And I'm like, no. But it's because over the last 6.5 years, I've worked on eating more of these foods so that I can eat a huge amount. And I have, like you said, guts of steel. Like I can eat 20 different things in a salad and have zero problems digesting it.
Yeah, and there's no doubt we're making people mad saying this, which is fine. For the rest of you who aren't mad and want help, I mean, the two things I would suggest are reading that fiber-fueled book by Dr. Will
Bolsheviks? I think it's Bolsheviks. Yeah.
First, and then read Dr. Furman's Eat to Live. And I always joke with Melissa, I'm like, your diet is Furman raw, and that's why people heal on it. And Dr. Furman has known this for years. When all the other plant-based doctors are telling you to, you know, just live on potatoes, he's known, you know, he knows what we know today and what Dr. Will has come out with. And that's why he endorsed Dr. Will's book, is that he's known this for a long time and he's really stressed it. So my whole thing is master the health promoting plant-based first.
Yeah.
Will's book. Then you to live, so you understand like the health considerations and weight loss and all that kind of stuff. And then try going raw within that understanding of the gut. Because you and I were in a group where it was just like bananas 24/7, and people are sick, and there's some people trying to do it, and it's not healthy. And what happens is they get really sick on just one fruit, and then they boomerang off, and they're eating junk food behind the scenes. One other thing I want that's going to really upset people: if your guru is doing a 40-day water fast after being raw for 10 years or 15 or 20 years. There's one at True North right now who's a raw fruitarian. If they're doing a water fast at True North, they are not doing well. You don't go and water fast because your diet's awesome. You go and water fast because you're in pain and you're desperate and you're willing to not eat for 30 days. That's how I was. And so when I see some famous raw foodists off to do their 30-day water fast, I'm like, oh shit, that's not working for them. And I know what they're through. And it doesn't make a genius. So just beware of who you're listening to, and beware of fasting. If you have cancer or late stage neurologic Lyme and you have to go to True North and do a water fast, that's great. But at True North, they teach you how to eat to build the microbiome back up.
That is so true. So true. I know a lot of people don't like that information. Because fasting is put on a pedestal and everyone thinks that it's like this most amazing thing. And yes, it is an incredibly powerful healing modality, but like 95% of the people don't need it. You just need to stop eating the junk, start eating high raw, start building the gut microbiome. And once you create that healthy foundation, you don't even need to do a fast. It's just a trend.
Exactly. The other thing is I did have Candida. I had severe thrush after my last round of antibiotics, like where the tongue is coated and the doctor goes, oh yeah, you've got yeast. And they put you on an anti-yeast medicine. But dysbiosis, where you have water fasting or fruit fasting, it feels like a Candida overgrowth because you don't have that diversity to fight off the bad bacteria. And you don't have the diversity to fight off things like yeast. So you assume that the answer is to fast more. And the answer actually might be to start eating food, feed the microbiome, take your butyrate, take your probiotics, and you can eat your way into health because your gut lining is finally able to heal. This is not being shared in a food community because it's shaking. It's going to shake things up too much for people's comfort. And we've got it's almost cult-like in the belief. And I was in the cult for many, many years, so I understand. But it's going back to people wrote these books and did this when they were 19 years old. And here I am, 55, trying to do a 19-year-old's diet from like 1988. And these are that were written in the 1800s when they didn't have anything else except fasting. And they worked great back then. But people, you can't live on that diet. You can't live on a fast.
Yeah, and I've noticed it becomes quite a lifestyle for people. Like they fast too much, they fast all the time, and then it becomes this cycle where when they fast, their bacteria dies, and then when they start eating again, they can't digest it, so then they need to fast again, and then more bacteria dies, and then they just like, that's where they end up only being able to eat melons.
You were even telling me this a couple of years ago, and I was kind of like, but I need to fast. You know what I mean? And I was sure I needed to fast, and actually that was the problem, is that every time I felt that Candida feeling, I was like, I better fast. But what it was is I needed greens, I needed some sprouts, I needed legumes, seeds. I needed to figure out a way to get that stuff in my diet. So I have a smoothie in my book that's called, I think, Spectacular Green Smoothie. It was called Sarah's Green Smoothie. Is my friend Sarah kind of came up with it, but it's basically spinach, lemon, I think there's some kale in there. It's a bunch of greens and parsley and half an avocado. And if somebody is really in trouble where they need those foods to build the biome, but they can't tolerate fruit or nuts and seeds or grains even, a good thing to do is start with that smoothie. You have to just drink that smoothie for a few days and then start adding in other microbiome building foods, because the gut will heal. It's like kind of like when you scratch your eye, it heals really fast given the right conditions. We just don't get the right conditions.
Yeah, exactly. And what Dr. B says that I really love, he says, instead of fighting off the bad, why don't we feed the good? Right? Because they're going to fight it off as well. And Castellandra asks, can you talk about people who eat only one meal a day? I feel like the 1 meal a day crowd the trend was created by the keto crowd, the keto and the paleo and the carnivore, because their meals are so calorie dense that they can only eat once a day without going over their calorie count. And it does not work on a raw diet. You can't do, no way. There's no way I could eat 2,400 calories in one meal.
You'll notice a lot of raw foodists were doing it right before they nose bombed into meat. So you're just doing something for 19 hours a day. I think it's when you first start, if you need to do that, if you've got some horrific overgrowth or you've tested positive for parasites or something, which people do. I did. When I was really sick with Lyme, I had 3 different types of parasites. But for like a heavy duty infection, I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's very long term. And often what people think is an infection is dysbiosis. So I even had a naturopath say to me, I don't think you have anything, just have gastritis. But she didn't take it one step further and say, and here's what you need to do. She was just like, have some salmon and broccoli. And I was like, I'm not going to eat that. But
right? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. But so yeah, your book is in the bundle.
Yep.
the Bliss Plan, and it's massive, you guys. Beth is like so amazing. Plus, she's got the best soap in the world.
Yeah.
So
I have it right here. Lava Love. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold up multiple things with my hands, but
I love it.
it's a clay soap that is made with Oregon lava from our actual volcanoes here. And it's micronized down to where it goes down the drain very easily. It won't clog up the drain, and it exfoliates and takes dead skin off. So if you are, you know, trying to live a healthier lifestyle, our skin is our largest eliminatory organ. I also, in the depths of Lyme disease, I started sourcing a CBD oil, which is also from Oregon volcanic soil, and it's grown out in cisters. And anyways, I want to say one thing. I'm willing to give away. These are 800 milligram bottles. They retail for $79, and I am willing to give away one of these to the next 5 people that buy the bundle using the link that's on my Instagram at Lava Love USA.
Yes.
So you're getting a $49 bundle and a I think it's $79 bottle of CBD at the same time for the next 5 people, and we'll see you. We get alerts the minute you buy. So
right. Okay, I'm putting you on here. Oh, I can't pin you to the top. Oh, because it's your live.
It's hilarious.
I'm like, wait, I can't pin it. But if you tap my comment in the chat, you can actually pin it to the top so people will always see it. Okay. But Lava Love USA, if you go to Beth's link in her bio, grab the bundle, you get some CBD too. Like, how good is that? So go.
Yep. Yes, it's a good time to buy.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, just so my viewers know, just to remind us what your burger book retails for normally. And can you just go through what you get with the bundle when you buy the bundle?
Yes, for sure. Okay, so the burger book itself retails for $33, and Nate's Dude Food book retails for $22, and my food journal book is $22, and the Nice Cream book is $27. And I don't know the exact cost. I haven't done the cost, but I think it's like 90 something for all of those 4. So just those 4 alone is worth $97 or $100 or something. And you're getting 65 ebooks in this bundle. 65 is a lot. Like, people see 65, they're like, oh yeah. But when you actually get the link and you scroll through, you're like, this is a lot. And on top of that, over half of the books in this bundle are brand new and created just for the bundle. So if you wanted to get those books, you might as well get it now. There's only 9 hours left to get the bundle. 9 hours. It's $49. Just follow the link in Beth's Instagram. Go to Lava Love USA. Get the bundle. Get your CBD. And you'll have so much content. There's over 300, I would say around 300 years worth of raw food experience in there. We've got people in there who've been raw for 12, 16, 40, 22, right? All these years. I've been raw almost 7 now. So altogether, there's like over 50 people in there, all with an average of like 4 to 40 years worth of experience. So we've got a lot of experience in here. And we've got, shipping to Canada.
I saw 2 questions go by.
Yeah.
We do ship to Canada. It's going to cost me about $25. But we can figure that out. If you want to send me a PM or an email at info@lavaloveusa.com. And then the second thing is, can CBD reduce pain or only for anxiety? It's mostly known as a pain reliever. So you can use it topically or you can use it internally. And it's great for anxiety as well.
I've used it for anxiety. Yeah. I love yours, because when I was going through my breakup with my boyfriend, it was CBD that got me through. Because like you can eat all the raw foods in the world, but raw food's not going to get rid of life.
Life happening. Yeah.
Right? Life happens and you go through stress, and the CBD really helped. The CBD, actually, I took your CBD to the UK Fruit Fest, and I actually would take it before my presentations because I'd be so nervous.
That's
and
awesome.
It really helped me to calm down before those too. So
that's great. Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
And the other thing about CBD that I will say is for anxiety, studies have shown that it actually heals anxiety. It doesn't just treat it. It does something to your nerves where over time your body kind of gets trained away from having panic attacks and anxiety. And that's the hilarious thing is I have all this CBD around the house now, which when I was going through anxiety, I would have killed to have this much CBD. And I don't even remember to take it because it's like, I don't need it anymore. And I think that's partly from the impact that it had on healing perhaps the myelin sheath. I'm not sure what the action is, but a naturopath told me that that's one of the amazing things about it is that it literally retrains your nerves to not go into panic mode.
That is so cool. And on top of that too, combining CBD with the healing of the gut microbiome, because the gut microbiome, I mean, not only is butyrate like it makes us happier, but also it's one of the most anti-inflammatories. Right? So anti-inflammatory, but also your gut microbiome produces 90% of your serotonin, your happy hormone, right? So if you want to get happier, build your gut microbiome, eat the fiber, eat the sprouts.
Yeah. And I might try, it's just to answer some of the questions, it's Lava Love CBD at lavalovusa.com, or you can PM me. There was one other question. Oh, and I wanted to say for people who are on non-fat diets, which I understand, I think low fat is great for healing, important for Lyme disease for a whole variety of reasons. We do have a concentrate on the website now that is almost no fat. It's just like, it's the distilled CBD. So it's not in a carrier oil. So if you're concerned about, there's a good one for you, Melissa. I don't do fruit after dinner.
Yeah, you know, every once in a while, Nate and I will do nice cream, but it's always like way after dinner. So like if we're staying up late or something, we'll eat dinner, and then maybe like 2 hours later, if we're up late and we're kind of hungry, then we'll eat some ice cream. But yeah, it's not super often, but if we're going to do any fruit, we like to eat it before our salad. So dessert first and then salad. Yep. I don't do well with fruit. And also another side note is the cold food like nice cream. Some people who have gut issues can't do cold food because it actually slows your digestion down. So
and also, if you have digestion and dysbiosis issues on a raw food diet, watch how much blended and juiced you're doing. Juice is a no-no. And that's, I mean, Dr. Will, you sent me that newsletter from him. Fiber is what carries the nutrients into the body. And like that whole science is changing. Like fruit juicing, if you have dysbiosis, you want to not do that. And some people can't do blended. And so you want to eat your fruit whole. Like you might find that eating 2 bananas just to test it out is a lot different than eating 2 bananas that have been pulverized in a Vitamix.
Yeah.
Because our bodies know what to do with bananas, but they don't necessarily know what to do with nice cream if we're dealing with heavy duty overgrowth of bad bacteria. So, yeah, you might want to start with whole fruit over nice cream as much as we love.
Until your gut gets better and you can handle more stuff like that. But you're so right. You're so right about that. That's why Nate and I don't do juicing. Like we'll have a random juice here or there, like once every 2 months. Maybe we'll go to a raw place and we'll get a juice, or maybe we'll get a case of oranges on sale and we'll have orange juice a couple days. But we don't do the celery juice. We don't own a juicer. We don't do any of that because Mother knows best. Mother knows best, and Mother Earth gave us the food with the fiber intact. That's why I consider oils to be processed foods, because you're taking the fiber right out of it, and juicing as well. So Butterfly Fitness says, what about the celery juicing trend first thing in the morning?
Oh,
that is the email that I sent
yes.
Beth about the celery juice trend. And you're taking all the fiber out, which is the #1 thing that we need from our food. I would debate that fiber is the most important nutrient of all. And people say like, oh, well, I want to drink the juice because I want to flood and nourish every cell of my body. The problem is over half the cells in our bodies are good bacteria, and they thrive on fiber, not juice.
If you can hear what Melissa is saying right now and get rid of the sugary juices, and I hate to say it, even the blended nice cream for a while, and eat whole food, a lot of greens and some legumes, whether you're sprouting them or whatever, your whole life is going to change, and you're going to stop suffering on your raw food diet, and you're going to give your bacteria what they need to grow and thrive. My phone may die, which is okay because I have customers showing up, but I want to just give a plug for that butyrate probiotics. There's many brands now with tributyrin in them, but Mary Ruth's has something called like Probiotic Complete. But look for the one with tributyrin in it if you've been suffering with gut issues on a raw food diet. 1 to 3 grams a day of tributyrin in your probiotic could change your life literally overnight, especially if you have over fasted or over monofruited.
Yeah.
So, eat coconut water is okay. I'm answering the question as long as you don't have severe dysbiosis. If you do, I would stay away from it at first. And, try it later as long as it's raw. If it's not raw, it's just like
pasteurized.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wanted to quickly address this, that a lot of people do feel like the celery juice helps them, or juicing helps them, but it's not necessarily the juice that's doing it. It's the fact that you're not eating all the other stuff, right? Yep. And you're actually hydrating yourself. The celery juice is really hydrating, but you're missing out on over half of the benefits of celery because you're dumping all of the fiber, which carry the polyphenols and feed the good bacteria. So yes, some people feel a benefit, but it's not sustainable, and we should be eating whole foods. Blended in a smoothie is fine if you can handle it, unless you have severe issues. Then just the whole food is the way to go.
Just get that book, Fiber Fueled, read it, eat your food whole. And I do think, sometimes probiotics are needed, but sometimes Dr. Furman and a lot of the plant-based doctors just say, eat the diet and you're going to get the diverse population of microbes that you need.
Yeah, we really, honestly, it comes down to just getting rid of the crap and eating the healthy stuff. It's so simple. We like to complicate it and like, which is better than this and how much do I need? And somebody also said, should I force myself to eat when I'm not hungry to reach 2,000 calories? And I think just work your way up, because you can't just automatically start eating 2,000 calories if you've been restricting. You need to work your way up and train your body that you're thinking about it, that you're going to give it something in the morning. Also, if you find eating 2,000 calories is hard to do, start eating earlier in the day and wake up a little earlier, because then you're expending a lot of energy throughout the day, and you tend to be a little bit hungrier. So that can help.
So I have 2 customers showing up at 3:15, and it's
cool.
So if anybody needs to reach me, you can try PMing me or emailing me at info@LavaLoveUSA. But buy the bundle before midnight. This is the most amazing offer I've ever seen. Like, I couldn't believe it when Melissa said you're getting like $1,500 worth of ebooks for $49, and these are people that have been doing it a long time and know what they're doing. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Huge opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for joining. And everybody, if you want some CBD,
thanks for watching, you guys.
If you want some CBD, head over to Lava Love USA and buy the bundle, and you'll get some CBD.
Okay. All right, take care, you guys.
Awesome. See you later.
Bye.